Hello, and welcome back to Voices Unveiled, the men we carry in our minds too. It's all about leaving people better than we found them. I'm your host, Sasha, and if you've tuned in to our introduction episode, you know we're all about the laughs, the lesson, and yes, the 11th or line twist in our stories about the men in our lives. Today, we're diving deep, but keeping it light with our episode titled The Dad Dialogue, Conversations on Influence and Identity. But no need to worry, this episode has enough humor sprinkled in it to keep things a bit breezy. Joining me today are three incredible guests, each with unique tales about their dads and how their relationships have shaped their choices in the men and molded the women they have become today. So grab your favorite snack, maybe something crunchy to match the crispy revelations we're bringing to you today. And let's get into it.
Hello, my name is Betty. I am a woman who proudly identifies as a Latina mom and serial entrepreneur. When I'm not working or spending time with loved ones, you can find me soaking up the sun, listening to music, or hitting the trails. As a massage therapist and nature enthusiast, I believe that self-care and connection are essential to living a fulfilling life. I'm excited to share my story with you and hope that you'll find inspiration in my journey.
Now we have up next Sharon Holmes from New York. Tuning in. Sharon, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sharon was born and raised in a neighborhood called Far Rockaway in Queens. I am a mother, daughter, great friend, and chasing the dream of becoming an educator. I just quit my job of being a police officer for the past 12 years, so I'm just excited to embark on my new journey, which was inspired by my dad.
Nice. Okay. All right. So that's good. Can't wait to hear all about why you quit and how your dad inspired you to go down the journey of being in the education field. Okay, and next up we have Christina from
Miami, Florida. I am first generation American, born to Jamaican parents. I currently reside in the DMV. I am a Howard alum. I am also a beauty enthusiast. I've been in the industry for 20 years now. Made a pivot into the tech world, which is also a passion for mine. So I'm now trying to merge the two, incorporate beauty and IT tech in some capacity to serve the Black, brown, melanated community.
So let's get into it. This episode is about the dad dialogue, conversations about identity and influence. So, growing up, we've all had different experience with our dad. If our dad was there or if our dad was not there. So we want to start the conversation of how did our fathers influence the women we are today? What was our relationship like when we were younger? Was he there? Was he not there? So who wants to pick it up?
Me. So I'm one of 8. My parents had 4 boys, 4 girls, and I guess they didn't have cable back in the day, and I'm sure my mom lost a few. I always jokingly tell her. But my dad was heavily involved, and he was the breadwinner of the family. He provided for us, and like I said in the intro, he's very big on education. So, yeah, he was there, and I don't know how I could be the favorite out of 8, but I was the favorite. When he got paid, I would organize his pay stubs. I was daddy's little girl, and that's my password for a lot of things. Don't go logging into my stuff though, but yeah. So yeah. He died when I was 15, going on 16 from cancer.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad, he was involved. You know, my parents are still together. They're married. Being that he is a Jamaican man, emotionally not involved. Very much, hard worker, has his own business. He's a mechanic, owns a mechanic shop. So that was kind of his baby girl for a long time. Yeah, so emotionally, no. Physically, yes, he was present.
I can definitely relate because I'm like an out of sight, out of mind kind of girl. So from when I was born to about 13, my dad was there. Apparently I was daddy's girl. Anything I wanted, I get. If I asked for a box juice, if you're Jamaican, you know about box juice. If I asked for a box juice and I tasted it and I didn't like it and said I wanted the one in the glass, he'd get me the one in the glass. He would pay for lunches when we go to school. Like, we didn't have to get lunch from school cafeteria like other kids did. We went to a restaurant, sat down, ate, whatever we wanted, rice and peas and chicken, stew peas. So I guess I was spoiled, or privileged, whatever you want to call it. But I don't remember him being there emotionally. I don't remember hugs. I don't remember sit down and talk about what's bothering me. I don't remember that. And then when I was 13 and I left Jamaica, it was like no more communication. He was there, and I didn't hear from him again until I became an adult. Or maybe I did hear from him again, but again, like I said, out of sight, out of mind. If he wasn't there, I wasn't thinking about it because I guess I have other things to think about. So yeah, it's like, but now it's a different story. Now he's there, and he always said, "Well, if you want to know something, just ask." And before that, I wish I knew that because I would have guessed. It wouldn't be a complete outside, out of mind,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but I didn't meet my dad till I was 27. I'm 37 now, so the past 10 years have been still a learning experience. Um, yeah, for the first 27 years, my mom was a single mom of 6 kids. I'm a middle child, so I don't have too many stories of my dad being present up until I was 27 years old. But I think it's beautiful now. He found me, and we are close, and we speak, and I mean, we don't get to see each other as often as I'd like, but I got to meet brothers and sisters that I didn't know I had. I have older siblings, I have younger siblings, I have nephews and nieces, and culture shock. The man that's on my birth certificate is a Puerto Rican man, and my dad is an African American black man. So I grew up in a completely different environment, and I feel like I missed out on a lot. Like, family gatherings. I feel like the African American community is more, the cookouts. And I remember going to my first fish fry, and I was mind blown. I was like, oh my God, I've been sitting out, and like real soul food, and that auntie with the big arms.
Oh my God.
Right, like I missed out on a whole lot of culture, so I'm still learning, and I think it's a beautiful thing. Though I'm embracing to it. I do have a sibling. He has another daughter in the same kind of situation, and she don't speak to him. So I took it differently. You know what I'm saying? Like I hurt people, I guess hurt people, but I don't want to say the hurt. I don't want to play the victim card. I'm not a victim. I took my strife and struggles, and I turned that into positive. And I chose to continue to have a relationship. He tells me my dad is wealthy, and he always is like, like I wish that I would have been there had I would have paid for your college. I would have did this. I would have, and then there's a lot of coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but like we picked up where we had the opportunity to meet. Period. And yeah, so it's been a beautiful 10 years, and I hope a couple more 10 years is in there in him. And that's my story. My mom was a single, hardworking mama.
Shout out to all the single moms out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out to that.
And I like it's something to be like, oh my God, it's such a great thing. But you still do it and do it with pride and our head. Yeah. So how did we all have different dynamics of how our dads were there for us and were not there for us? How did it affect you as an adult today, as the woman you are today? Like, did it influence you in any kind of way? How did it affect you?
So, hold on, let me sip.
I feel like tears coming now.
So my dad always wanted a house. Because big family. We were born and raised in the projects in Far Rockaway. So he never got the chance to buy one. So I'm working during COVID, and I see all these people die, like in a 5-day work week, like somebody died like every day. So then I got COVID, and I'm like, all I have is headaches. Like, I'm gonna make it through this, and I'm watching people die. So let me do something that my dad always dreamt of, because life is precious, and to just see people die like every day and knowing he had a dream. I bought a house. I bought a house for my mom to live in. It's currently on the market, but because I'm tired of my family. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, so I bought a house, and he just, my dad just, I don't know, man. He's look at this. This is me on his belly. But I don't.
I said, how fitting.
Yes, but yeah. So I got my smarts and my good. Well, I'm not that great with money, but I'm better than others. So yeah, I bought a house, and in his legacy. That's what he wanted to do. So I felt the need to carry it on. And then when he passed, I shared the room with my mom. Like, I just slid right into yeah.
I remember coming over on those days after.
Yeah, I have a picture of you sitting on the side of the bed and my mother in the background.
Oh, taking naps.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yep.
Okay. How about you, Christina?
Well, for me, I love my dad. We're born on the same day. I get my humor from him. He's really crass. This is a man who's a Republican. He is outside of the box.
Republican Jamaican.
Girl, Trump loving Republican Jamaican. Yeah, that's a whole
another
podcast. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing. So he's a very bold man in his ways, but he is also, like I said, not really the most emotional person. And my mom and my dad got married on her birthday literally today. And I would grow up and see how hard he worked, how hard she worked, but there was no romance. So for a long time, especially in high school, I would try on this day to try to create, at home dates for them. Like, hey, I know, Dad, you're not romantic. Let me show you how to do it. Right? Not receptive. So for me, it made me not want to get married. I'm like, if this is the life, I don't want it. This is not what I want. Someone to pour into me. I don't want to, be 2 trains in the night, just, like roommates. So early on, I didn't really look for love in that capacity. I wasn't looking for something that I could hold on to. And it influenced me in a lot of ways in how I dated. I looked for men that didn't want anything serious. I'm like, cool, but knowing that's not really what I wanted. So, I had to come to grips with, okay, what I did not receive, I needed. And I was trying to show them that not only they needed it, but I needed it too. I needed to see it. So it was a huge influence on my early stages of dating.
Wow.
No.
Well, I want to piggyback off of Christina with even though it was there, you had your 2 parents, you still didn't see that. And like me, I didn't see that at all, and I needed that also. Mm-hmm. So it you could have it right in front of you, but if 2 people don't know, if they're not doing, you're not gonna learn from that. So I feel like in that sense, I kind of was like, what's that Johnny song? Looking for love in all the wrong places. you don't know. You don't know until you know. And there was a lot of trial and error, looking for something that I didn't even know what I was looking for. Like you get fed all these Disney princesses, and you really think your Prince Charming is coming, and he's never the Prince Charming.
I got a problem with the Prince Charming analogy too, because it's not always a prince. It's not always a prince. Like who?
No, I know that, but like 80s kids, they stick you in front of Disney, and you like, where the hell am I?
Like why does someone always have to rescue you in these movies too? That's a whole nother come on.
That's gotta be a damn in distress.
Right. Well, you do. That's actually tea.
I think I'm still looking or searching for that, because I didn't see, I very seldom did I see people share my family's. Listen, I didn't see people married for 20 years and divorced. Like after 20 years, where are you going? You going down the hall to the next room? Because I can't fathom people 30 years divorcing. My cousin, divorced his wife, it broke my heart. My heart's still broken. I'm like, oh my God, after 22 years, you just woke up one day and you just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that? How do you invest your children, your children got children, grandchildren, and then we're not, it really is till death do us part. So I feel like if I get married, I say it's one and done. From here, what funeral you want to be cremated? Because I don't want to do that. We're not. Once I'm married, I want to marry. That's it.
Right.
I don't want to be married again. People get married 3, 4, 5 times. Just date.
Yeah. But sometimes people grow apart and they don't do the work that they need to do for themselves. And when they finally do the work, they wake up and like, wait, this isn't working for me. This isn't serving me. Why am I here? And then they just dip.
After 20 and 30 years, I think. Yeah. I think this is our prime. It's safe to say we're all in our mid-30s, right? 21. Like we babies. We just left our 20s.
21.
Yep. Girl, that clock is, and I don't want to be like still looking for it when I just want to kind of just chill, like, and vibe. Like, I don't want to be 50 still trying to look for love. Like, if it didn't happen at 50, then that's it.
So wait, you giving love a cutoff?
No, don't give it a cutoff.
I don't want to like. Yeah, I don't feel like you should cut off. But I'm saying like marriage, like dating. I feel like I could date forever. I like marriage is dating.
We can go off topic.
I feel like that also sometimes messes things up because you be seeing people fine, they get married 2 years later, they get divorced, but they were together 14 years.
But I don't think you should put like about married like I'm totally giving up on it because
or marriage, then we just gonna date. But I want to have my own.
What is the point of dating these days? Aren't you dating with the purpose of getting married?
That's what I'm saying. Like, just I would say not to say like I'm gonna go back to like being like a little in the sweet or something, but I don't want to be looking still like I don't not at that age. I kind of at that point I might as well invest in just myself and I'll date, but not like.
And I get what you're saying, but I don't believe you should put like time limit on it. By 50, if I'm not married, that's it. I give up because you never know who may come across your path. Mm-hmm. You never know who you might meet, and then they just add to whatever you had going on, and you get like so much greater. So I don't feel like you should like, all right, by 50, no marriage. I'm just doing it.
I met a 60-year-old in a bathroom at one of my spots, married to a woman that's like 68. I'm like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I done had kids and all that, and we got married. I said, oh, yeah, there's no age.
Yeah, there's no limit. Yeah. I could be 80 still kicking.
80.
You know what I'm saying? 80, I'm fine.
It still works.
Rolling up in a wheelchair. Hey, babe.
Come here.
But I think it speaks to kind of that trauma sometimes, and having to do the inner work. You attract where you're at. So if you want the love you want, you have to be the person who you need to be to attract that. So it may take until you're 40. It may take until you're 50. We're all on a marathon, not a race. So, just have faith too.
You got a point.
Yes, I
really relate to Christina and Mel's story because my mom and dad, I guess they were married, but I didn't see them together. I didn't see a loving marriage. I didn't see him buy her flowers or I didn't see those things, It's almost like I was oblivious to those things. I was just this little date little girl going about kind of naive about the world around me in my own little bubble. And I guess I was very angry as a child. I don't know why, but I know I was angry. I'm still trying to figure that out, okay? Therapy, hello.
I love my therapy. Give a shout out to Susan Hayes.
So I'm still trying to figure things out and how did not seeing them together affected me because it definitely did. Because like Christina said, you choose men who are emotionally unavailable. And story of my life, hello, I've been choosing unavailable men and I'm done. And I'm just focusing on me doing the things that I like. This is like the first time in my life in a long time where whatever decision that I make is because it's something that I want to do. Mm-hmm. Right? No outside influence, no one for me, you shouldn't do this, or whatever it is, it's my choice. And I felt for a long time my choice was being taken away from me by different men that I meet. Like, okay, my dad took away the choice of us having a relationship by not still reaching out to me when I was a child. Like, I needed that. I think I yearned for that, but because it wasn't there, I did this thing where out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, it's not there, I'm not thinking about it. And now things bother me. And when the questions come up, it's like, I want to ask, and he'll be this Jamaican man that said, start to laugh. Like, what's so funny? Like, I'm not laughing.
Mm-hmm.
So the other day I messaged him and I'm like, well, how come, you didn't reach out? Or he was like, well, ask your mother. No, I'm asking you. Like, can we talk? And then I was like, I didn't have that dad to tell me, well, this is the kind of men you need to watch out for. This is the kind of men you need to choose. If a man don't do this or if a man don't do that, well, he's not the one. I'm like, I didn't have that. So he was like, well, I'm here now. So you can ask me whatever questions you want to ask me. So it's like, I'm glad he's here now. And I've come to the point where I've accepted that. Maybe he didn't know better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his choices were based on his relationship with his. You never know the dynamics there or what kind of relationships he's been in. So it's like I'm more of at an acceptance stage, and all right, you're here now. I'm glad you're here now, and whatever questions I have that may come up at any given time, like I'll be in the bathroom or wherever, and the thought comes to my head, wait, I wonder if my dad did this, or I wonder if he liked this, or and I have these questions, but I'm glad that I can like pick up the phone and call and say, well, I have this question, or text him or say something like that. But it's definitely a strain on picking the men that I have chosen in the past and who I continue to choose. I guess now I'm more careful or cautious, if you want to put it that way, because I'm just chilling.
I like how your voice
Yeah.
got low. You said you're just chilling. Just chilling right now.
Yeah, he's laying back. But I think you said something really important, acceptance. That's something I had to do too. I realized just because my dad is of an age doesn't mean that he is mature in a lot of ways. And that's fine. We're all going through life with the little kid in us that we're trying to heal. And I just chalk it up for what it is, and I set boundaries. I think that was a big thing for me. It was just kind of setting boundaries on what I'm willing to accept from him and what I'm not. And it changed him. It made him like pull his guard down a little bit and grow up a little bit more. So now we have really good conversations and banter. Can we have those deep dives like you have with your dad? No, my dad doesn't take accountability in that way, but I really don't need him to, because I feel like I've done the inner work. I was in a relationship living with my ex 10 years, together. I told you, didn't want to get married. And it's funny how the world works. You get with a man who also doesn't want to get married. So everything I didn't want showed itself. So I realized that I wasn't being honest with myself, and I just needed to forgive my dad and focus on what it is I really need. So now emotional maturity is like attractive to me. It's like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what you
like
want? Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. I can, Caribbean woman, I can get a little crazy. You still calm? Okay, we're cool. Yeah.
Definitely. Wow. Anybody else have anything to say about that topic right there?
If you get with a caveman, don't be surprised if he hits your head over with a club. I'm just saying. You got to accept men for who they are and not fantasize them. That was a lesson too, because I was fantasizing my dad, thinking like, oh, he could be this charmer, romantic. No, he's a caveman. And that's okay. But that's him.
That's a misconception that women have in general, is that they meet a guy, there are things that the guy doesn't check off, and women think that they can change men. You can't. And women think that babies keep men. They don't. So I mean, there's a lot that we also have to Listen, I mean, no. If you see it, you're not going to change for yourself. Run. Like, yeah.
Like a card. It's as is.
Yeah.
When I was younger, like I was saying before, like my dad, I was spoiled, right? And as I became an adult, I felt like I looked for men who would spoil me, not consciously knowing that that was what I was doing. It took me going to therapy and realizing this is what I was doing. Like, I want you to open the doors for me. I want you to buy me flowers. I want you. And I was looking for these things and I wasn't getting them.
Okay. Damn, son of a
And I'm like, why aren't they giving these things? Like, where did I get this ideology that they have to spoil me? And when I wasn't getting it, it's like a little 2-year-old throwing a tantrum, like, but why can't you just buy me flowers? Or why can't you, like, and it took me going to therapy to realize that that was stemming from the kind of relationship I had with my dad when I was very little. And how it's okay if someone doesn't completely spoil me, or because I'm craving it so much, I can spoil myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always say these days, whatever I want, I get. And if someone else is not giving it to me, as long as I can give it to myself, I'm okay. And I'm not going out there seeking it from someone else. So that played a big part in me transitioning to the woman I am today.
I can't say that my dad played a role in the men that I chose. Because in the beginning, of course, I was with a guy because I thought that was what was expected of me. Because I was born and raised in church. My dad was a deacon. So I have a 19-year-old with a guy, 2-year-old with a girl. So life is just.
So you want to touch on the fact that you went from being with a man to being with a woman. Like, what made you switch?
So, like I said, I was with a guy because I thought it was what it was what it was expected of me. My dad wouldn't have. I'm actually coming to a Christian household. Hey, Dad, yeah, I like girls. I probably would have got beat till I lied and said, no, I'm lying. I like men. No. I even got caught humping a girl, and my sister swore to secrecy, and she never told. But a little extra.
Never hear this story.
It's not like, so I know for me, it's not about like penetration. Like for me, it's clitoral stimulation. And can a man do that? Yes, but can they do it as well as a woman? Sorry, no. So yeah.
Oh, that's right. I know that's right, girl.
Did you always know that you liked
Absolutely. Women? And when I told my son Thomas, when I told Thomas's dad, his whole family was like, "Yeah, we knew." I said, "Okay, well then, when was y'all gonna tell me?" You know what I'm saying? So the whole world knew already.
I can say I'm in a relationship and I've been with my partner for 6 years. And he definitely surprised me with a lot of the shit. Like he is opens my door. He buys me the flowers. He also don't want me going outside.
He also what? He also what?
I'm not gonna like the sound of that.
He also what?
He don't want you to go outside.
Because we met outside, and when I say outside, like I used to work in the entertainment life of the nightlife, and he met me outside. So when we got together, I didn't stop working in the nightlife because of him. Like it just with time, I was working at night for a while. That was actually the last club that I worked at before when I left for good night, and I didn't go back. So he's not a fan. Like even if I like want to go out for a little while, because he met me.
It's like I met you that way, so I imagine someone else is gonna.
Yeah, like I don't. You can say yeah. He's like, why you don't go to brunch or something? Do like something.
But not to say he's insecure, but if he's secure in his shit, you can do whatever you want.
Girl, you can meet somebody in Publix.
Like there's the lack in not that he's not secure because he's a secure dude, but because he see me single. So
what does that mean?
You know what I mean by the way she said it.
He see me single, so he be like, he'll stupid things like don't get fucked up. Like he won't physically stop me from going out, but he be in a little funk, and it takes him like 2-3 days to get over it. I mean, we're not like full blown arguing about it, but it's
Or like when
you
you
know,
want to go out, like what are you doing? Like he could just come with you. No?
so yeah, and then I work remote outside of being a licensed massage therapist. I work remote, so I'm like home all the time. So when I do want to go out, like maybe once in a while, he'll be okay. Like I went out the other day, he was fine. But then it's like if it's too much for him, like in 30 days, I can't want to go out once a week. That's too much for him. He'd be like, well, why you want to go out all the time? And I'm like, where do I?
He don't go out. He don't go out.
He don't.
I'm about to say when you could go out when he go out, and that'll be fine. Y'all both come back together.
He's so fucking boring now that I'm
Well,
like, and I know I love it. Listen, that I love him.
No.
I love him. But he just don't like to be outside. He's like, why are we spending money and and we need to. And I'm like, no, bro, you need to loosen up. Like I'm the one with the kid. You don't have no kid. Like, what's your malfunction? What is your?
What's your mouth?
You gotta live. We young still, because he's like, oh, it's one night, it's all the same shit. You know, one bar.
That's not true. I meet different people when I go out, and I have the same bartenders though. You know what I'm saying?
And he used to be. I've heard stories about him. Like he was, but now he's. I don't know. He's like more like he's what I wanted, just not so fast. Yeah. Because I still want to hang out and do things, and he's more reserved. He's very reserved. Like he don't talk much. He's very observant. He watches everything. He already read the room. Like he's like that, and I'm like, you want
this part? I can't wait to read this.
Right? Yeah, he's gonna be like, oh, so that's what's that? I know that's tell nobody nothing good about me.
So when you were younger, was your mom like married? Was there male?
There were boyfriends. And they were actually one particular boyfriend to this day. Like that's all of us. We all call him Pop. My mom was 100%.
Wow.
And he was, my sister passed away 2 years ago. May 28th is going to be 2 years. My brothers were incarcerated, and my stepdad, because he's not with my mom, but he tells everybody that we're his kids. And he was incarcerated too, so I had to call the chaplain and Miss Sharon. So I had to call and be like da-da-da, and I want to talk to, so they could come, and you know what I'm saying. Then they let them. And he was. I see the way he was crying. I was crying more because I was like, oh no, that y'all got to take this man out of here because he was just like my fucking daughter. And so like I seen him the way he loved my mom. We did not want them to break up. Like I seen that and I was like, that's what I want. I want somebody like that. Like
so you yearn for what they
for what he was giving her, because my mom's a meanie. Like, they're
sorry,
not.
Mom, she didn't mean
I
that.
love you to death, Mom, but you cannot.
That's another story. I know this is about men, but we can talk about our mother too.
Yeah, no, but she knows. She knows. Like, listen, my mom she knows. I told her, I was like, I'm calling. He's gonna come. He can't miss this. Like, cause he was so involved in our lives, like that we still call this man Pop to this day. Like the love, how he loved my mom, that was so beautiful. Like that. I might have not had my biological dad, but those 10 years that my mom was with this man, and it was like, it was very prevalent in my life because it was my high school, high school all the way to like a little bit after college. So I seen that.
For the important years.
Yeah, he would hand make, cards, and I mean, he was the cutting grass man. Like he would walk miles. His feet looked terrible. Like he just went above and beyond, and my mom, she just didn't love
you. You got that. You just got to stay home.
Yeah, I just got to stay home. Yeah.
You got it. Just stress him out a little. Ain't nothing wrong with stressing a man out just a little bit.
You have to. You cannot have them thinking everything is sweet.
You got to stress him out a little bit.
I was coming to this podcast and he was like, you got to put makeup on? And I was like, don't you start. Now, he was joking, but like, that came from somewhere. I was like,
we're gonna have him on here next. Sasha, I'm sorry, this is Sasha's podcast. She's gonna have him.
Yeah, we gotta bring Al over here.
I mean, we definitely got to get the men involved because we're talking about the men that we carry in our minds, right?
But I love that. I love that I have that, like, that I have that love that I bring. That I have that.
You had an example.
In every relationship, my grandma says, one person loves and the other one is loved. Like, en cada relación, una persona se ama y la otra se deja amar. And I feel like he, like, my man, when I say, like, I just could look in his eyes, like, our very first date, we went from the club to IHOP. And I'm like, I mean, the food couldn't get there any faster. I'm halfway into my pancakes. I look up and this man is praying. I'm like, I put my forks down. I was like, yeah, I don't even think I put syrup on. I was hungry. And he's just he's not just a God-fearing man, like respectful towards women. I love how he treats his mother, his sister. He's very involved in the lives of the women in his family. His dad, he's definitely. I think I got something.
It sounds like you lucked out.
Yeah.
Despite, I've been hearing that shit in the dating pool, but like this. So,
despite not having that, not seeing that until I was in high school.
Yeah. But I feel like that's when you needed it the most.
Yeah, definitely. I could say he's definitely like my step. Like he does everything to try to make me happy. From picking up something that I like to eat, making sure just buy me flowers just because. Like I don't open the door handle when I'm with him, and if I do, he be looking at me like I'm crazy, and I be like,
"Yeah, that's a good man, Savannah."
Yeah,
Savannah.
Right. Yeah. So, I'm definitely looking. Cheers. I'm definitely blessed.
Girl,
like
yes,
say,
you are.
But it's okay to still kind of do you too, because men have a way to bring you down to, their comfort level. But you have to kind of do the same. Be like, okay, let me get you a little uncomfortable. Yes, I'm going to put on some makeup. Yes, I'm going to go out. I want you to come with me, right? But, we have to have balance.
I need you to trust that if I'm going out, you need to trust me that I'm going to do the
Listen,
right
if
thing.
I'm going out, I'm coming back to you. Seriously.
Ready. Hot and bothered.
See, let's move it.
That's how you like it anyway. Stop playing.
Come on, what?
You gotta keep it exciting, right?
You gotta keep it spicy.
Yeah. But I think that goes back to what you were saying, Sasha, about how you were spoiled by your dad and how that's what you yearned for men. And I think you deserve that. I don't think that's something that, if you're not getting it, you have to cry for it. If you're not getting it, it's time to move on. Because your dad did set you up in that way as a foundation, just like her stepdad did. It may not be your biological, but a man in your life shows you how you should be loved. And it's like, this is what I want. I don't want nothing less. Deuces.
And for a long time, I had this thought in my head that the things that I wanted, they were wrong to want them because I was being selfish, because I was only thinking about myself. And it took going to therapy and realizing that it's okay to want someone to open the door for me. And I love that. Like, all right, I'm just going to stand here and, open the door. And I had this bad habit of, if I'm walking with a man, I'll go up and open the door and then it open for him. And then they'll look at me strange, like, what are you doing? But it was just so embedded in me that, I didn't need a man in my life to do those things because I felt like, I was wanted too much, or I was being selfish, or whatever you want to think. That was me. That was my thought. My thought process. Like, okay, maybe I don't deserve these things. Not because your dad did it. That doesn't mean you deserve it now. But girl, now can't tell me nothing.
Okay.
You don't do the things that I need as a woman. Like, I want to be in my feminine energy. I want to be the woman. Right? I don't want to have to be the man, right? So if you're not doing those things, what's the point? What is the point?
Yeah, I would never say I don't need a man because I don't want to change my tires. I don't want to take out the trash.
I don't know how to do it.
I can do it myself. I don't want to do it.
I can do it, but I don't want to have to.
No.
And it's like, until that person comes along that says, what are you doing? I got the trash, or I got the door, or I'll change your tire, or I'll go get your car washed, or whatever it may be, that the role of a man, whatever, society says the role of a man should be. I feel like I'm not the traditional woman, but I'm also not the modern woman, right? It's like I'm in the middle. I'm trying to think of a name for
Do we all know our love language?
I know.
You say yeah, Christina?
Yeah.
What's yours?
It's acts of service and words of affirmation.
Physical touch and acts of kindness. What's yours, Sash?
I feel like I like them all. Like, tell me you love me. Buy me
No.
something.
You no.
Why can't I have it all?
Repeat your question, Sharon.
You know your love language. There's a test to figure out your love language.
Oh no, where do I find
Oh, just Google it. It'll come right up. Acts of kindness, words of affirmation, gift giving, and there are two more. Yeah. Physical touch. Did I say physical touch? That's like my favorite.
Physical touch, yeah. There's another one.
Yeah.
I feel like, what's wrong with me wanting them all?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with you wanting them all, but
there's nothing wrong with that.
I want them all. I want you to tell me you love me.
Yeah. And you'll find that.
I want you to touch me. Like, I want them all.
So acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, words of affirmation, and physical touch.
If I had to pick two, I'd pick quality time and I'd pick words of affirmation, because I felt like as a kid I didn't hear I love you enough.
You actually told me that too when I was in Florida. You told me that. I should tell you that more.
I know. You gotta tell me you love me.
Anyway, next subject.
I think I'm like, I would say I'm very handsy. I'm a physical touch kind of, like, yeah, I'm very hands-on. I mean, I'm a licensed massage therapist. I love that.
Girl, there you go.
It makes sense.
I touch you all over.
But I want to hear it. Because you
you're crazy. Aaron.
It's like, you never know when that person might not be there. And I guess this also stems from me, my grandma passing away. And I felt like I didn't get to talk to her about life. But I just felt like she passed away, and I was like that. I went back to that out of sight, out of mind, because she raised me when I was in Jamaica. And then when I moved here, it's like, again, out of sight, out of mind. Even though she did write to me, I don't think I wrote back. I don't think I called. Like, I felt like I was a horrible kid.
So if you know this out of sight, out of mind kind of thing is serving you, and it's also not serving you, then maybe there's something you need to do to shift.
No, and that's the thing I have, because I realized that this was not helping me, this out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, because I like to talk about how I'm feeling. I like to ask you questions about how I'm feeling. Okay, Sharon. But if for a long time, everything was out of sight, out of mind, and not having these people here anymore to ask them the questions about life, about love, about, how to go on this journey of life and choosing the right people and choosing the right men. It's hard not having her there. So it's like, now that I've gotten to the place of acceptance with my dad, like, all right, maybe he didn't know better, or maybe, this was his only choice, or he had his reason. Whatever it was, he had his reason for not being in contact. Whether it is because he's blaming my mom and my mom is blaming him, and whatever it is, like, I've accepted that. So now that he is there, I feel like I have the opportunity to ask these questions, to actually sit down and have the conversation. Like, yo, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you write me? Like, why wasn't I important enough for you to say, screw your mom, I'm still reaching out? You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a question though? Like, I mean, I don't know what that's like, but is that really important right now? Is it too hard to just pick up where you are and move forward? Like, why dwell on the past? Like, what do you think that the past has to do with, like, right now? Just curious.
The past definitely dictates your future. How you were raised, how you communicated with people, whatever happened in your past, it have an impact on who you become.
No, but why not just give your dad, you don't know what your dad was going through. Why not just give him a little grace and be like, Dad, okay, I get it. Let's go from now.
It's not like I don't want to give him that grace. It's just like, I want to know. I want to understand. I want to understand you better, understand your choices better, understand why you are the way you are, and how is that affecting me as a person, and how can we build a better relationship moving forward. So it's not like I want to know because, well, I hated that you did that to me. I want to understand where you were coming from.
What is the understanding going to do for you?
It can help to humanize him. I get where you're coming from. There was a time, this happened a few years ago, me and my dad went to Jamaica during COVID. We had a big argument about, I was telling him like why I was with my ex for so long and why weren't you there and why didn't you step up as a man to like help me navigate this? And it got so heated that he went into his room. We were staying at my aunt's house. He had his own room. Lights off, head on the wall. Like, what about me? And in that moment, I didn't see a 60-year-old man. I saw like a 12-year-old boy.
Wow.
And that's when it hit me. Like, he can't. He cannot. What you're asking of him, he cannot do. And so for me, it helped me stop trying to put those expectations on him. I think that's why we have such a good relationship where we can banter and talk crap now, because I don't see him as this idolized, pedestaled version of himself anymore. To think, oh, you're my dad, you have this title, this is what you're supposed to do. You're still a kid. You're still lying to yourself.
Yeah.
I have a question when you finish.
Yeah.
So I remember telling my mom that, I needed to go to therapy, and she's like, "Oh, you don't need a therapist. Give it to God." Like, what do you guys' take on like therapy?
I feel like our parents' generation
Totally
did not do therapy.
Yeah.
First of all, let's talk about Jamaicans.
Look, Christina.
I love therapy. What do you mean?
As a whole. Do they even believe in therapy? Absolutely
not at all.
No.
Bring it to God. That's what they're
Yes.
And it's like, if they didn't have the tools we have today, or didn't know how to utilize the tools that we have today, then how can we expect them to, I don't want to say be on our level, or
just understand us? I mean, well,
understand us. Yeah,
Understand themselves.
Yeah.
Understand themselves. So it's like, in having a conversation with my dad, well, why didn't you call or why didn't you reach out when we left? Like, it helps me to understand where he's coming from. Like Christina said, to humanize it, to make me more relatable to him and understand where he's coming from and why he wasn't there. So it's not to just say, well, you weren't there and that hurt my feelings, because, girl, he wasn't there and he started a whole new family and that made me mad. I felt like he had kids and named them after us.
What? Thank him for dropping you off to the Airbnb. But anyway, go ahead. I was like, your father, what? I heard about your father in a long time, but anyway.
Right. So it's like, don't get me wrong, I love my dad, right? I feel like he's a little bit part of who I am. And my mom is a little bit part of who I am. I hate to admit that.
Oh, I should have recorded that for her. Damn, I'm going to text her.
But, and I love my parents, don't get me wrong. But you can love somebody and sometimes don't like them.
Of course.
You not like attitudes. You don't like how they treat you. But I love you. Like, I would do anything for you. And if anything happened to you, like, I'd be hella sad. But sometimes it's like, it's not good for me to be in the same room with you or anything like that. Like, distance, if we're apart, like, I love you more. But if we're together, we're going to butt heads and what did you say in Jamaica? Two bulls can't rule in a pen. Yeah,
and that's okay. So that's okay. Like, your family isn't chosen, right? They're, your friends are, thankfully. And if they trigger you, it's okay to create boundaries. Yeah.
I don't know I'm not going to answer if I would like to, have a do-over and have different parents, but you don't know what you're going to get. So I'm just grateful that I have what
you have, right?
Yeah, I'm just grateful for what I have. And you just kind of, like, in life, you just kind of have to meet people where they are. Like, you don't know their traumas. You don't know what they've been through. Like, being a parent doesn't come with a manual,
No.
And I jokingly tell Thomas, he's like,
people grace.
He grew with me. So we see, like, everything together, and that's why we're so close. But,
and babies come about from having sex. Okay, so it's not like we sat down. We had
Wow.
a detailed
You
conversation.
came from your dad's nutsack. You winning me. I thought we were in a different position. Didn't work.
And here we are.
Right?
Luck of the draw.
No more Hennessy.
Right. Hennessy brought you here.
Like,
So, it's never really anything that came about with a lot of intent sometimes. It's just like, oh, you're here now, and we got what we can.
But I can't lie. I was 19 and his dad was 19 too, and we were contemplating what to do. That teen. And his dad's parent, mother and stepfather sat us down and said, God gave y'all this baby. He gonna help y'all with this baby. Until this day.
They help with this baby.
What?
Girl.
Ridiculous.
I envy that. Like I do, because
I had a coworker one time would tell me, she was like, do you even have a son? I'm like, don't be mad that I have a great support system. It's amazing.
Right. It's crazy because you had that. And I yearn for that. Not that I didn't have my mother there, you know what I'm saying? But I yearn for that, like the father to be present, because I have a 15, almost 16.
Damn.
I know.
Right? Shameless plug. She does hair. But go ahead.
Hair book her.
Lisa's actually booked next week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But it's going to be in your house.
That's fine. Yo, you're getting money.
But
she get that from her mother. She get everything from her mother.
You see how you had his dad present and his family present. Like, I don't feel like my child had that, and it's like it made me feel like I'm repeating the cycle of my mom not having my dad there and me not having her dad there, and like it breaks my heart till this day. But it's like you can't make
somebody want to be there that doesn't want to be there, and she's aware. Alyssa is aware, and that's what makes this different. It's not the same cycle. Alyssa's aware of what's happening, and she appreciates everything that you do for her. So don't feel. I can't tell you not to feel bad, but you're doing the best you can, and she sees that. So that should make you feel amazing.
But it's still like you want to give your kid the best of everything.
You're giving it to her.
Right. And someone sent me a video today. Shout out to Terrence. Thank you. You always send the best Instagram videos about the fact that I'm a great mom. You don't have to give your kids the world, but the things that they need, that you give it to them, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But it's still like, I don't want her to grow up and say, well, why wasn't my dad there? Even though she is old enough to know now, but it's like, she shouldn't have to wonder, like, why is it so hard for some men to just step up to the plate and say, okay, well, we're not together, but this is my kid and I'm going to do right by her, no matter what. Like, why is that so difficult? Like, that's what I want to understand.
You want to get my brothers? You want to get my brothers in here?
You
didn't do anything. Yeah,
like that's the image he's portraying. Like, I did something to him to prevent him from being the dad.
Lack of accountability.
Yeah, that's what it is. Christina hit it on the nose. Lack of
accountability. He just doesn't want to take accountability for it.
Right.
But you know what? New daddy.
Hello.
Like, that's why you gotta date. That's just like stepfather, male influences. It can still influence her positively.
I feel like influence definitely, but as far as dating and having somebody play stepdaddy, I don't know about that.
If you don't understand, it won't happen organic.
Right.
Organic, yeah.
Unless you know you're marrying them, like that's the only thing.
That's not like it gotta happen. Like, okay, in my situation, I've been with my man 6 years. My daughter's 13, so he's been around since she was about 6, 7, and when. Not to keep going back to a sad story, Jesus. When my sister passed, my daughter was also graduating 5th grade, and she was chosen to give the ceremonial speech in 5th grade. So my kid's dad came out here to see her graduate, and it just so happened that my sister passed away at the same time. And when I came back, because I left my daughter in my apartment with my kid's dad, and I left, and him and my boyfriend, That's how they met. It was crazy. I was like, I didn't do no real crazy introduction. I'm like trying to figure out how I'm getting to New York to be there for the funeral, wait, whatever. And when I came back, my kid's dad was like, hey, my daughter told me, because my kid's dad is as present as he can be. We co-parent very well. And he's Jamaican, by the way. He's Jamaican in Trini. So not all Jamaican men are terrible. All right. He has a really good, my daughter, her dad. Like, they have an amazing relationship.
Yeah, they have big socks.
No, he says to me, you know, my daughter made me feel good. She said she felt like she had two dads.
Oh, that's
nice.
That's sweet.
That's important.
You know, and so that made me feel good, because this is not me telling my daughter, oh, call him your stepdad, or like, no, like that's, they built that. Like, she's very comfortable with him. That makes me feel amazing. Like, the fact that she told her dad that, or that he felt even comfortable around I think my man probably felt a little bit more, because we live in a society where you're used to, I don't like my baby daddy, I don't like my baby mom. We're so toxic, we're so negative, that when you see something positive, you're like, oh, there's something going on. No, we are strictly, this is a business. The only reason why we talk is because we have a child. Otherwise, he would have just been an ex. You understand? Like, so there's nothing with me and this man, but for the sake of our sanity, our health, our mental, spiritually, emotionally, and every aspect for our child as well, we co-parent very good.
Can you imagine? That's amazing.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Like, his mother is, I don't know what you call those people that go to church on Saturdays. No, it's like something past kind of Seventh-day Adventist. Oh my God, this woman, every day, this Trini, God bless you. She sends me prayers, the daily word, and every day I respond, and she's like, you and my granddaughter are my favorite people. She goes full blown me, and she's like, you respond to me every day. I love you. I wish you and my son would have been together. I don't be, entertaining those types of things. But I'm like, God bless you too, Ma. I love you. God bless, in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, and it makes me feel good, like, because she has that relationship with them, and it's not something that I force, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm grateful for that. Like, back to the stepdaddy things. I love that my daughter and that my man put the energy, that my daughter is receptive, that they built that bond. I didn't force nothing. She calls him by his name. You don't have to call him. He's not your stepdad. That's my mom's boyfriend. You could call him by his name. Now, the day that she does, if she ever does call him dad, I'm going to freaking cry, because that's going to be the decision that she made. Like, he'll be like, he picks her up every day after school. She plays the tuba. I'm a band mom. So she doesn't tell me that she's staying after school. She texts him, I'm staying after school, because that's who picks her up. So, like, sometimes I got to write to him, hey, is she staying after school? And he'll be like, yeah, I'm going to pick her up. Like, that makes me feel good, because that's something that they built. I don't force it. And I like it, so if you meet that dude and he wants to be in her life and he makes that effort to be in her life, that's going to be her step. Like, you feel me? Like,
but I feel like I have an almost 16-year-old. And at that age, it's
my stepdad. I was in high school when him and my mama got together.
It's hard to
I love that man.
It's hard to trust, like, a new person coming in, like, with good intentions, and you have a 16-year-old.
Well, they gotta meet her right away. They can meet her.
I know, but still, eventually, if it gets there,
maybe like 2 years down the line.
Right, like, look, I met my stepdad that I'm telling you, I love this man. I love this. Me and my sister beat his girlfriend up one day. Like, he's still together.
Yeah, you love him, girl.
My girl's still together. Huh? Anyways, and I love that man, because he did the way he loved my mother and the way he loved us, and how patient he was, and how he used to get me out of big trouble. Yeah. Like, I wholeheartedly appreciate that. And I met him when I was in high school. They, you know what I'm saying? They spent 10 years. That's my that's my pop. Like, I don't call him Liddell, that's his name. But that's Pop. We all call him Pop. He raised my nephew. Like, my nephew, like, he says that's his grandson. And him and my mom don't even really talk like that. They're not friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still to the I met him, and I just want you to know, like, if your daughter sees somebody loving you and putting that foot forward to try to build with her, and she builds with that person, so, you know, like you said, there's, you know, don't put an age on me wanting to get married. Don't put an age. If your daughter builds a really good relationship,
don't limit yourself either.
Yeah.
And it starts with you trusting. Because if you're having an issue with trust, then you really need to do that deep dive and understand why it's so hard for you to trust. It's not about her. It's about you trusting someone to come in your life, opening up vulnerably and letting go, no matter what happens, you know? Yeah, you got to allow it to kind of, you got to allow it to work. Allow God to work, too.
My girlfriend.
I think I'm at the point where
you ain't got to open the door, but you can crack a window.
Yeah, now you're the Aaron.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at the point where the window is cracked, the breeze is coming in, but, you know, I'm cautiously threading the water, seeing
we all
what
are.
happens.
We all are, you know.
And what else can, like, I firmly believe that whatever is supposed to happen, whoever I'm supposed to meet, even if it's for a brief moment of time or a long time, no matter what is supposed to happen, it's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. If it's for a brief moment of time and I wanted it to last for a lifetime, I'm going to be sad, girl. I'm going to cry. I'm going to shed a few tears. She can't stop rolling your eyes. I'm going to shed a few tears. I'm going to be like in my bed depressed for like a month. And I'm going to go to therapy and I'm going to tell my
and they can be living their best life.
And
or not.
Or not. Right. Or they be sad too. But, you know, whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen, regardless. And that's always been my mindset in life. Even though I may cry about something happening that I didn't want it to happen that way. But it's going to happen how it's supposed to happen. And I've got to the point, look at Sharon's face. Like, I know you. I'll be calling her like,
yeah. What did you expect? La 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 la.
I know what it is.
She be mean sometimes.
I'm not mean. I'm just brutally honest.
And I love her for that. And I appreciate, you know, who she has been.
Because she's not a yes ma'am. She's going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I love that my daughter and her dad have a really good relationship. I love that even though it didn't work out as far as us as a couple, that he's very present in her life, that I could go to New York and I could leave my kid with her dad, like that I'm so comfortable, like that. After I gave birth, I passed out and went to sleep, and he signed all the papers, and if only because I was exclusively breastfeeding, they would wake me up to breastfeed her because I didn't get a pump right away. I exclusively breastfed for the first 30 days. And when I say that man he was so, like, I'm telling you, it was beautiful. The first diaper, I missed the bad shit. I don't know if you've seen it with your daughter. So our first poop when we come into this world is supposed to be some black nastiness. I never got a chance to see it because I slept, honey. That man went full daddy mode. And we were not together. Like, we were not in a relationship. It was strictly, we went to be the first kid. And that makes me feel good. Like, I didn't have it. I'm not resentful about not having a dad in my life. But I'm also very happy that my daughter has one. That she gets to have a healthy relationship. Even though it's a little bit of distance. That it's not, you know, he plays his part. Thank goodness for electronics and iPhones. Mm-hmm. That if he would FaceTime her dad and see him, that she doesn't feel like she misses him, that she talks to her dad. Sometimes they have conversations I have no knowledge about, so they'll be filling me in on something. That makes me feel good. That she knows that her dad is ape shit about her. Like, that to me makes me feel so complete. It's like, it doesn't erase the fact that I didn't have one, but it makes me feel good, like, that she has one. and I'm doing something good. You know what I'm saying? And the wheels, and I'm breaking generational, the trauma of, you know, the toxic, not having. My mom doesn't believe in therapy neither. She's like, oh, well, get over it. Everything is get over it, because she's a victim of abuse, and she's like, oh, people just need to get over it. And I'm like, I don't know what, you know, Amazonian tribe you came from, but not everybody is getting over it, Mom. Like, you gotta chill sometimes. Some of us need therapy to get over it.
Or pray about it.
Yeah, that's another thing. She's, oh yeah, because look to God, because if it wasn't for God. And I'm like, well, you know, kudos to you for God to bring you through everything, getting over it. You know, like, I'm still healing, and I love that I get to see my daughter have what I didn't have. And I feel like I live vicariously through her, like watching that. That's my conclusion to this. You know, I didn't have it, and I get to give it to my kid, or my kid gets to have it. Not that I'm giving it to her, because I'm not the dad, but that he chose to be very present makes me feel like, you know what, it was all worth it. Like, all my pain, suffering, strife, and trials in life, and I look at my kid and she doesn't have that. Like, she can't say, oh, my parents don't care, because she can call, if she doesn't feel comfortable talking to me, she can call her dad and talk to him about it. You know, like, they're both artists. I can't draw to save my life. So when she's talking about her artsy stuff, he knows, oh, the bleed-proof paper and the and the this and the that. They have that in common, and that makes me, I feel like I'm complete because of that. And then having my partner play a major role in her life as well. Like, I feel like she just has double of what, you know, like, I didn't get to have. So, like, that ultimately my journey is still not over, because I'm watching my kids' journey, and it's a beautiful thing to see having a dad actively present. It is a beautiful thing. I think that is very important. You need a mom and a dad, and it sucks for us who didn't have that or didn't get to experience that. For some of us who have children that don't get to experience that, but I'm grateful for everything. You know, like, I'm not bitter about any negative, anything that happened bad. I turn it into a positive. I try to be as positive as possible, because we could sit and be the villain, we could be the victim, or, you know, we can triumph, man. I want to be the hero here. Like, we don't have to be the victim. Right. We don't have to be a victim. We don't have to be the villain. We can be the hero.
Right. And a damsel.
Yeah. I can definitely say that my lesson or my takeaway or what I want to put out there is that time transition you into a different person. And I may not have had my dad from when I was 13 to I don't even know how old, but he's here now, you know, and he's here and he's alive, and I can pick up the phone and I can and I can say, what's going on? Like, can we talk about this? Can we talk about that? I have a question. He's here, right? It's one thing if he was not here, but he's here, and I'm very grateful for that. And my hope is that even though my child, her dad, is not physically present in her life now, that maybe one day he will wake up and he'll be there, and they'll build that relationship and, you know, pick up where they left off or start new. So acceptance, time, because with time, everything transitions, everything changes. You become a different person. You become more accepting of the things that may have traumatized you, you know, because you got to give people grace. We're human, and this is how we work. This is how humans work. We have emotions, feelings, hate, love, anger, sadness, and you just all got to accept the fact that with time, things will be better, no matter what. Because my grandma would always say, this too shall pass, and nothing bad lasts forever.
Right.
Nothing bad lasts forever. It'll get better, you know. So that's my lesson or takeaway. And I'm still learning, don't get me wrong, because I be having my days. Or weeks. But yeah, that's it. What about you guys?
I'll go. I'll just piggyback off of what you both said. I mean, I just accept my dad for who he is. I love him even more now because I see the light in him. And I think me coming to him just like, okay, you want to talk crap? You want to talk, shit? All right, let's do it. I think he's also become more vulnerable, and it's amazing to see. And then I'm on a mission to really change the narrative. I want to show my parents the love that they deserve too with the partners that I choose. So I'm very intentional on who I meet, who I date, and that little girl inside me, I bring her with me. Like, you like him? Okay, girl, So yeah, just healing that trauma, and just, bringing forth a new generation of love and romance, and to show my children, to break that curse, and to show them what love is. And if not, just to love myself so immensely that even, son, daughter can see that too.
Yeah, that's very important. Very, very.
As my dad calls me right now.
Hi, Dad. You're gonna live a long time, girl.
Right? As he calls me.
Oh man! So from my dad, well, I can't wait to sell my house. It's that generational wealth that he's always wanted. I'm gonna be able to take my equity and pay off my credit card debt and start fresh. And also because of him, I have the ability to. Last Thursday, I was gonna leave my job in July, but they made it June, and I had 23 vacation days to burn, so I'm getting paid for the next 23 days until June 13th. But when the office told me that, we're going to change the days off from Saturday to Sunday to either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, and you be going into the street 5 days a week. Like, do you guys think that's fair? Like, yeah, you have the least amount of work. Lies. So I walked over to the pension section and I said, how do I change my dates? And they said, just fill out this form. So I go back to the office and I tell them, I don't think that decision that y'all made was fair. Today's my last day in the office and I clean my desk. So I have to attribute that to him because I'm educated. And when you're that, no one can really tell you anything. Like, that job wasn't it for me. It wasn't even supposed to happen for me. I just kept taking tests. So I thank my dad for instilling the importance of an education in me. And I'm going to continue to instill that in my sons. But I'm surprised I didn't cry. But I love my dad. I swear.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't cry either.
Right. That's my man.
Good. Yeah. I think it's good when you come to a point where, even though your dad isn't here, the values he instilled in you, it's so strong that you can smile about it. It brings joy.
What about the other 7? No, I'm just kidding.
Don't tell them now.
Woo! Yeah. Thank you, guys.
And see the next everybody.
So that's all for today's dive into the tides of our past and the lessons we carry forward. Don't miss our next episode. Thank you to our guests and listeners for joining us on this journey. Remember, every story shared is a step towards greater understanding. So stay tuned, keep your spirits high, your coffee or tequila strong. This is Sasha signing off from Voices Unveiled, the Men Who Carry Our Minds edition. Let's turn those face palm moments into high five of how far we've come. You've got this, and I'll see you in the next episode.
I know you fucking lying right now.
Should I do it over?
However do you want it? However do you want it? However do you want it?
However do you want it?